The night everything changed, how Shibuya Incident broke every rule we thought we knew. October 31st, 2018. Halloween night in Shibuya. What started as another cursed spirit outbreak turned into the bloodiest massacre in Jujutsu history. And here's the kicker, the good guys lost. Spectacularly. I'm talking about complete annihilation. Heroes dropping like FLIs. The strongest sorcerer alive getting sealed away like some common criminal. An entire district turned into a graveyard. If you thought you knew how shonen anime worked, Shibuya Incident just grabbed those rules and set them on fire. But here's what nobody tells you about that night: it wasn't just a battle. It was a carefully orchestrated chess game where every piece was a human life. And the villains were playing 3 moves ahead the entire time. The setup seemed simple enough. Cursed spirits and curse users team up to trap civilians in Shibuya Station. Classic hostage situation, right? Send in the cavalry, save the day, roll credits. Except this time, the cavalry included Satoru Gojo, the man who could level city blocks with a finger snap. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Absolutely everything. See, while we were watching Gojo flex his unlimited power, the real masterminds were already 10 steps ahead. They knew something we did, and that even gods can fall if you hit them where they are weakest. And Gojo's weakness wasn't his technique or his strength. It was his humanity. The moment Gojo stepped into that subway station, he was already walking into a tomb. Not his own though, that came later, but the tomb of everything Jujutsu sorcerers stood for. Because what happened in Shibuya wasn't just about sealing one man. It was about breaking an entire system. Think about it. For years, the Jujutsu world operated on one simple principle: Gojo exists, therefore we're safe. He was the nuclear deterrent, the ace in the hole, the guy who made curse users think twice before starting trouble. Remove him from the equation, and suddenly every monster in Japan starts licking their lips. But the brilliance of the Shibuya plan wasn't just neutralizing Gojo, it was making him complicit in his own downfall. Every civilian life hanging in the balance. Every second he hesitated to use his full power, every moment he chose mercy over efficiency, it all led to that horrifying instant when prison realms snapped shut around him. And that's when things got really ugly. With their strongest piece off the board, the remaining sorcerers were like sheep surrounded by wolves. Nanami Kento, the reliable adult everyone looked up to, gone, burned alive by a patchwork curse who treated human lives like playthings. Nobara Kugisaki, the fierce girl who never backed down from a fight. One touch from Mahito, and suddenly she's questioning whether she ever existed at all. The body count kept climbing, but the real horror was in the deaths. It was in watching these characters we'd grown to love slowly realize they were completely outmatched. There's this moment when Yuji Itadori, our plucky protagonist, finally understands that being the main character doesn't make you invincible. Sometimes the hero fails. Sometimes people die because you weren't strong enough, fast enough, smart enough. That's the moment Shibuya stops being entertainment and becomes something else entirely. Something that crawls under your skin and stays there. Because here is what makes Shibuya different from every other dark turn in anime history: it doesn't pull its punches. Characters don't get miraculous last-minute saves or convenient power-ups. When Nanami walks into that subway tunnel, burned and broken but still fighting, there's no dramatic rescue. Just a curse who's been waiting to show what real monstrosity looks like. The animators knew what they had here. Every frame drips with this oppressive weight, the sense that we're watching something fundamental break apart. The color palette shifts from the usual bright tones to these sickly yellows and deep reds that make your stomach turn. Even the music changes. Gone are the heroic themes, replaced by discordant noise that sounds like the world ending. And maybe it was the world ending, I mean, because after Shibuya, nothing in Jujutsu Kaisen is the same. The power structure that kept Japan's curse problem in check shattered. The new generation of sorcerers who were supposed to inherit that responsibility, traumatized beyond recognition. The thin line between order and chaos, erased entirely. What's fascinating is how the arc uses our own expectations against us. We've been trained by decades of shonen manga to expect certain things. The mentor figure stays safe, the supporting cast might get roughed up, but never truly broken. The protagonist always finds a way to win in the end. Shibuya takes every one of those expectations and destroys them systematically. It's psychological warfare disguised as entertainment. Every time you think you know what's coming next, the story pivots and shows you something worse. Every time you hope for a victory, it delivers another devastating loss. By the time the dust settles, you are left staring at the screen wondering if anything you believed about heroes and villains was ever true. But perhaps the most brutal aspect of Shibuya isn't what happens to the heroes, it is what happens to the villains. Because they don't just win, they enjoy it. Mahito's genuine delight as he breaks Yuji's spirit piece by piece. Jogo's satisfied smile as he watches the world burn. Geto's calm satisfaction as his century-long plan finally comes to fruition. These aren't mustache-twirling caricatures. They're characters who found purpose in destruction, and they're very, very good at what they do. The aftermath is where Shibuya's true genius reveals itself. Other stories might spend time on recovery, on rebuilding, on finding hope in the darkness. Not here. The consequences are permanent, the damage irreversible. Characters we love are gone forever. The system that protected innocent people has collapsed. The monsters have won, and they're just getting started. This is why Shibuya Incident became a cultural phenomenon. It wasn't just another battle arc or another power-up sequence. It was a fundamental shift in what anime could be, what it could show us about ourselves and our world. It proved that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that refuse to offer easy answers or comfortable resolutions. In the end, Shibuya Incident succeeds because it understands something most stories do, and that true horror isn't about jump scares or gore. It's about watching everything you believe in slowly crumble away, piece by piece, until you're left standing in the ruins wondering how it all went so wrong. And the scariest part? We're still dealing with those ruins. Every episode since has been about trying to survive in a world where the safety net is gone, where the strongest protector is locked away, where the monsters know they've already won. October 31st, 2018. The night everything changed. The night we learned that sometimes, the bad guys really do win. And we're still living with the consequences.